57-7. One more time. 57-7. An absolute and utter disaster for the Red Raiders down in Austin. A 57-7 game. This is by far, since I've been covering Texas Tech football, one of the lowest I've ever felt watching this football team. And it was in a game after you had Brett Yormark talking all kinds of shit, right? At the Red Raider kickoff luncheon back in August. You also have the factor of Texas Tech beat Texas last year in Lubbock. And what do the Red Raiders do in Austin the last time that they will go down there for the foreseeable future? They get absolutely outclassed. Simple and plain. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxwell here for the Back to 12 podcast. And in today's video, we'll rant. We're going to rant. This is a therapy session for not only me, but you as well. We are going to get as much as we possibly can off of our chest right here in this video. And hopefully you guys can do the same down in the comment section, because there is a lot to discuss. Not a lot of positives if you're a Texas Tech fan. And if you're a Texas fan watching this video, congrats. You got the trump card for the rest of, well, until they meet again, if they do meet again. Because last night in Austin was an absolute embarrassment of the most epic proportions for Texas Tech football. Simple and plain. There's one positive I can think of. One, and that's Taj Brooks. Everything else, well, awful. I mean, just simple and plain awful. But I want to hear your one-word reaction to describe this Texas Tech football performance at number 7 Texas. I mean, I can think of some that aren't safe for children. I mean, it's just awful. I mean, awful, putrid, disastrous, laughable, comical, whatever you want to say. Did they even get off the plane? Did they even know there was a plane to get on? I mean, that's the kind of performance this Texas Tech football team put on tape. You had to watch that. I almost feel like I deserve NIL money for this. I mean, it was awful. But let's jump right into this. Again, this is a therapy session. I'm just like you guys in this regard, Red Raider Nation, in the sense that I had so many questions watching this game, specifically on offense. And I want to preface this. It's going to sound like I'm coming at Zach Kittley, and to be fair, I am. But I want to lay the foundation out in terms of maybe why Zach Kittley couldn't do some of the things that we wanted to see him do. First and foremost, the offensive line was disgusting. I mean, my God, was it putrid. It was like a porta potty you walk by at a music festival after being sat there for 7 days and not emptied. It was awful. Okay. Then the wide receivers, they were getting covered better than these clothes are covering me right now by the Texas secondary. Zero separation. That's disrespectful to the number 0. It was less than 0 separation for the wide receivers. That being said, it felt like the towel was thrown in terms of creativity on this offense. Really, when the game started, I mean, like there was 0, it felt like maybe a handful of plays where there was actually some motion that was helpful, right? There was no trick plays, and I get it. You have to have an offensive line to do a trick play. I'm not even asking for a flea flicker. I'm not asking for the Boise State play. I'm not asking for any of that, right? I'm not. I'm just asking for some sort of creativity and for the fact just to throw the damn kitchen sink at them to see what works. Who are you saving it for? What are you saving those creative plays for? Oh, are you saving it for the Mighty Key Car Care 7-Eleven left side of the road bowl? Like, what are you saving it for, right? At least try it. That's all I'm asking for. Just try it. Worst case scenario, you're in the same position you're already in, 57-7. Why not? Why not try it? That's the thing that's just baffling to me. There was no creativity. Your offensive line, that was by far the worst performance you've had all year up front. To be fair, that Texas front, 6-7 defensively? Disgusting. I mean, they are disgusting. All of those guys will be playing in the NFL. T'Vondre Sweat is one of the top 10 players in the country. Jalen Ford, arguably the best linebacker in the country. That said, there was no adjustments made. I mean, 0. What are we doing? Like, what are you doing? Did you even want to play after the first quarter? I mean, it was disgusting. It was appalling to have to watch this offense get the ball, hand it to Taj Brooks, who, by the way, averaged 5 yards a carry and was actually pretty damn good, right? But then the Texas offense was like, oh, we can just play man coverage on the wide receivers. And, even if there was a passing play, we could send 4 and get to the quarterback. And on run plays, why don't we just load the box? I mean, Taj Brooks is the only guy doing anything offensively for Tech. Screw it. We know we got the wide receivers covered. We know we got the tight ends covered. Why not? I mean, it was just awful. I mean, just awful offensively. Simple and plain. But you tell me, what frustrated you the most about this Texas Tech offensive performance against number 7 Texas? I mean, you were outclassed in every facet of the game. Let's just put that out there. And I know some people are going to come for me in the comments. Oh, you're not a real Red Raider talking trash like this. No, I'm a realist. I'm a realist in this. You played like dog shit. Call a spade, brother. There's maybe one positive, maybe two in this entire game. You got outclassed, outcoached, outworked. I mean, everything. This is an embarrassment right now. This is one of those games, in my opinion, where you look back at this is one of those games that is up there, maybe even more so considering the trash talking that went behind this from the commissioner of the Big 12 at the Red Raider kickoff luncheon back in August, saying, I'll be down there in Austin for Thanksgiving, and I hope you kick their ass. That's basically what he said. And then what happened? One of the worst losses in Texas Tech football history, right? And I get it. I did not pick Texas Tech to win this football game. And if you were being honest with yourself, you probably didn't either. But you didn't expect them to go down to Austin and lay one of the biggest eggs this program has ever seen. It was awful. I mean, every chip on the shoulder of Longhorns fans was there, right? You could tell that Texas just had an extra edge because, let's be real, they wanted to shut the commissioner the hell up. Right? They wanted to stop hearing what Joey McGuire had to say about things running through Lubbock. And I know that wasn't directed at the Longhorns, right? It was, hey, the world's going to know that. We're going to make this better. Well, it was after the Longhorn game. So I get Texas using that motivation, right? It's just one of those things where you look back at it. And I don't know, in my time of talking about Texas Tech, covering Texas Tech, creating content around the Red Raiders, that I've had a harder time trying to find just 3 positives in a football game. Like, Taj Brooks was the lone positive, man. Like, I guess Braylon Lux played pretty well too. But, I mean, outside of those two, like, please, somebody let me know. Like, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to be realistic. This is one of the most embarrassing displays that Texas Tech football has put on a gridiron in a very long time. It's that simple. And the defense allowed 302 yards. Texas is going to do that, right? Like, they're going to get yards. It doesn't help that you didn't have Jalen Hutchings. I get that. Also, Jacob Rodriguez. It is what it is. But even with those 2 guys, let's just take away 100 yards for the fun of it. Probably wouldn't have happened, but let's just take 100 yards away. You still gave up 200 yards rushing. Okay? The Texans run game is no joke, right? They've got multiple guys that can beat you. But you were thoroughly outclassed in the trenches on both sides of the football, whether that was the Texas defensive line or the Texas offensive line. They absolutely just dominated you. Simple and plain. There's no other way to put it. Just disgusting. I mean, let's call it like it is, and let's not sugarcoat this shit, okay? You and me right now, we're talking. I'm glad you guys are still here 9 minutes into the video. Texas Tech got dominated in every facet of the game. Taj was the lone bright spot I can think of. But, man, like, no creativity, felt like no adjustments, just utter domination and an utter disaster from the Red Raiders. What felt like from the opening kickoff, you go 3 and out on the first drive, the Longhorns just without, literally, it felt like any hesitation or backlash from the Texas Tech defense, score right away. You get a touchdown to end the first quarter from a Baron Morton run, and that's it. I mean, that's it. After that, the offense might as well not have been on the field. It was that bad. That bad. Yeah, I mean, and I'll say this too at the end of the video before we get out of here. If there's any Longhorns fans talking shit to you, like, I get it. Talk your shit right now. I get it. I really, really do. Especially after what Brett Yormark said last year, how everything went, some of the comments and everything. I get it, man, because I know this too. Red Raider Nation, you better not say otherwise. If Texas Tech would have won this football game, you know you'd be talking shit to them. So it goes both ways. But, man, just appalling, disgusting, putrid. Those are some of the words that come to mind, or some of the words that come to mind for me in describing this Texas Tech performance against number 7 Texas. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know on the pinned comment below your one word to describe Texas Tech football's performance at number 7 Texas after a 57-7 loss. Just disgusting. I hope this was a therapy session for you guys, because it was for me. And there could be more like this, but hopefully there's more positive videos moving forward. Let's just be honest about it. And if you want to join one of the most engaging Texas Tech communities here on YouTube, not one of the most engaging, the most engaging Texas Tech community here on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to stay in the know on Texas Tech football all year long right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.